It is time for Virgin News. What was that? Somehow I don't think it's just my room that makes me sexless, and my comic book collection is probably just me. So yeah, we're getting into Virgin News. Why do it again? It didn't work the first time. Why do it a second time? So first of all, in Virgin News, we have Tobey Maguire's official return to acting after 7 years. Done some chess movie before it. Actually, I'll just look it up. Tobey Maguire. And his last film was Pawn Sacrifice. Well, he did narrate Adult Tim in Boss Baby, whatever that is. So that kind of counts. It's not really seven. Well, I suppose it's his first time being on live action film for 7 years. It was 2014 when he was in Pawn Sacrifice. It's big news in the sense that if you know that he's coming back for a movie for the first time since 2014, and a film coming out after all the multiverse stuff is coming out as well, with the multiverse, the madness of the multiverse, which is Doctor Strange, and with Loki happening as well, with all the different timeline events. You know that he's going to be the older Spider-Man in the next Spider-Man movie, No Way From Home. So we also have casted in that, which is, look, before I get into this, I think this is going to be an extremely good and bad thing for the new Spider-Man. Good in the sense that it's a cool idea to do for live action, but bad in the sense that we already have it into the Spider-Verse. Which, look, I don't see how much different, other than different actors, different voices, and different looks, this film can be on what's new to us from Into the Spider-Verse. If this was a different superhero, maybe like with Doctor Strange is going to be doing the multiverse stuff, I think it would be a little bit more interesting. But at the same time, it's cool as fuck that we have Alfred Mandela back as Doc Ock. We also have Jamie Foxx back as Electro. And there are some heavy rumors about William Dafoe returning as the Green Goblin, that's massive. Now, that's just rumors, but also at the same time, so was Tobey Maguire's return as Spider-Man. That is still a rumor because he hasn't confirmed that his return to filming is Into the Spider-Verse. In fact, he actually has confirmed that it's a movie version of Babylon, which is set to be released in 2022. Look, I'm super excited for it, but I'm also resilient on the sense that Into the Spider-Verse is Into the Spider-Verse is such a fucking cool movie, not just because of the story and not just because there's multiple Spider-Man. It's the actual animation style and the way that movie looks. That's what makes that film so interesting. So, yes, it's a cool idea. We can also bring in Miles Morales into the live action this way with the multiverse, which would be deadly to see. Miles Morales was made Captain America recently in the comic books. They've been doing this stint in Marvel Comics where there's a load of people holding the mantle of Captain America. And they have, instead of just like the American flag look on Miles Morales, they have the Puerto Rican flag, which, because he's a Puerto Rican, comes from a Puerto Rican family living in the Bronx. Or is it Harlem? I think it's Harlem. If not, I just said two very racist things there. But yeah, no, look, I think it's going to be really cool. The reason why I'm hesitant on this is because Far From Home had a really good casting with Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. Mysterio looked awesome, but I fucking hate what they done with him. He was not Mysterio. They made him into like a fake supervillain with all these drones, which I think, yeah, on paper that sounds cool, but at the same time, and trying to tie it back in with the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the sense of like uh, tying it back with Tony and having that overarching story arc with Peter trying out better Tony is what that's the aim with Marvel with the character. They're trying to make him like the student beats the teacher kind of thing of outgrowing the teacher and being a better person than the teacher and all that stuff, which I think is it's a good idea. But look, why did you have the Room Mysterio? And I have a feeling that's why I'm a little bit skeptical on this Far From Home thing, or No Way From Home, because No Way Home. What am I saying? I just think that it could be a huge shit show, but I'm so fucking excited for it, especially the fact Doc Ock alone is back in it. Yeah, moving on, we have Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings trailer, and there was, look, for people who don't know, he's a character who was based off of Bruce Lee in the 90s. They drew the character off. They wanted to make a superhero who is basically superhero Bruce Lee. He's not that well known, which is what Marvel are going for now, because you have to remember when a lot of people are like complaining about who the fuck are these heroes coming out in the new MCU timeline, and yeah, to an extent I kind of am the same, because there are a load of heroes that they could do that they're putting onto TV rather than doing movies on, which is a smart and a bad move, because they can make it a little bit more adult on TV, especially with Moon Knight. Moon Knight is like Batman, Marvel's version of Batman, but he's a psychopath. Oscar Isaac's playing him, which is a great cast, especially because of the Egyptian heritage and stuff like that. But then you have fucking like the Eternals and stuff like that, which like even the Inhumans were better, but they've failed at that with the fucking movie. There's been no news on the X-Men yet of where that holds since the whole Fox deal. With the Fantastic Four, we haven't seen anything about that, but everyone forgets the fact that when Marvel made Iron Man 1, Iron Man was one of my favourite characters as a kid growing up. I had the action figure of him before the movie and stuff like that. But a lot of people didn't know who these people were, and the only people who watched superhero movies was nerds, was people like me, fucking dorks like, and now everyone is watching them, and I think it's down to the reason as to like even simple things like Thor his costume looks stupid and dumb to people who aren't comic book fans, and then you have Iron Man going to fight him and he's like, your costume looks stupid, and people are like, oh, they're kind of making criticism of themselves is kind of cool, and they're funny, they're witty, the casting is exceptional. But people, when Iron Man 1 came out and the next lineup of like bringing out Captain America, basically doing the Avengers, everyone was like, oh, Marvel are rolling out like the B-list characters. They're trying to make money off their B and C-list characters who aren't really that popular in comic book sales and stuff like that. They're not the X-Men, they're not Spider-Man. Even the Fantastic Four were more popular than the Avengers at this stage. And when I mean that, I mean to people who weren't interested in comic books. A lot of people would have always loved Captain America #1 and stuff like that. But going back to Shang-Chi and the Eternals and stuff like that, people are like, who the fuck are these people? I don't give a shit. Just give me fucking Iron Man fucking 7 and shit like that. Look, and if you don't know this, like, come on, it's been 2 years, like, I'm raging that Tony is out of the MCU. I think that they could have done things. I like his ending. I think they could have kept him on, though, as the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the future. Like, look, he could have done it in so many ways. I understand that Robert Downey Jr. wanted to move on to new things and stuff like that. But we're stuck with these characters now, and There's one thing at the end of that trailer that I'm massively excited about. I couldn't wait for his return in the MCU because I knew he wasn't dead, and there was rumors of him being locked up in the same prison that the some of the Avengers were locked up in Civil War, and that is Abomination. He is back, baby. For people who don't know, Abomination is the Hulk's villain, and he looks a little different now, but he looks more like the comic book version. The one thing about Abomination, he's like Doomsday in the sense that he evolves and stuff like that. So he has got those gill ear things, and he's got a gill spine and a fish spine, and he just looks really cool. There's not much shown of it, but he's fighting Mao, I think his name is Ming. Jesus, that's another two racist statements if I'm wrong. Basically, Doctor Strange's side character. I can't remember his name. Oh well. So yeah, it just looks cool. I'm excited for it. I think it's something different that Marvel haven't done yet, and it could go badly, could blow up in their face. But then again, Marvel are really competent on making movies and stuff like that, whether you know the characters or not. Every film, you could say in retrospect, before the MCU had started, all the characters were unknown to the general public. So I would just say to anyone who has those criticism of the new characters and the Eternals and stuff like that, just give them the benefit of the doubt at first, because most of you didn't even know who fucking Thor was before these movies came out. You definitely didn't know who Vision was. You definitely didn't know who Wanda was. You definitely didn't know who Black Widow was or Hawkeye. The only people that you might have known was Captain America and Iron Man and the Hulk. Everything else that came after that was brand new to people who didn't read the comic books. So I don't necessarily agree when people are like, oh, Marvel's going to be shit now because I don't know anyone. You didn't know anyone to start with. So just give it the benefit of the doubt. Moving on, we have Batman. The Batman movie. Patterson and Colin Farrell have went back to Scotland to do some reshoots, and look, this is not that big because movies do reshoots all the time. But if this was any other company making it, I'd be like, oh, that's not too bad. It's not that big. Going back to the Justice League yet again, the Snyder Cut. This is what makes me worried, because Warner Brothers shanked that film really bad by making Joss Whedon do it, and I don't know if this is more creative control from Warner Brothers affecting the creativity of the movie. Matt Reeves directed, for people who don't know, he's directing the movie, and Matt Reeves done the Rise of the Planet of the Apes trilogy, which, for such a dumb concept as Planet of the Apes, they're exceptional made movies. That could have been a lot cheaper and just more action based, but they have they're smart movies in a sense of what they could be. I'm super excited for it. The first trailer was amazing, but look, reshoots with Warner Brothers have proved in the past that they don't have the best track record. Because it's not just Suicide Squad. It's not just Justice League. It's Suicide Squad as well. Apparently, there's the David Ayer cut that people are asking for. Look, I don't give a fuck about Suicide Squad. There's not much you can release from that movie to make it any better, to be honest. He says there is. There's a few people who worked on it says there is, but I don't see the same level as Justice League, because they overshot for Suicide Squad, where in Justice League, basically the entire movie was reshot just to make jokes and make it funnier and try and make it more Marvel, which just doesn't work for a dark universe like Justice League. And especially, it doesn't work when the skeleton in the movie is based off of Zack Snyder. He's such a weird artistic director, which he makes normal action movies look pretty, in a sense of like the way he shoots it and stuff. So look, again, giving it the benefit of doubt, but not holding my breath. Another thing that came out this week was Halloween Kills, the sequel to the reboot of last year. Look, the movie, it's going to be another dumb slasher horror movie. It's not going to be smart. It's not going to be clever. But the one thing, I don't think they should have released in the trailer, but I think a lot of people who are diehard Halloween fans and stuff like that, I'm not one of them. Never have been. Never got the concept of Michael Myers, to be honest. He wasn't that scary. The first one, for the time, is an exceptionally made movie. I love the way they hid John Carpenter hid Michael Myers throughout the movie in the background and stuff like that. Even you have to look for him in some things, which makes him look like he's stalking Jamie Lee Curtis's character throughout the whole movie, which is a really cool concept. But anything past that, it's it's schlock. It's just shit. The trailer came out, but what I said that they shouldn't have shown was the first couple of kills with the firemen. They look really cool. They're shot really cool. Like, I love the shot inside the fireman's gas mask, where the axe comes in through the glass. It looks really cool. I'm all for because like Halloween and horror movies in general, they've always been really heroin based, like not the drug, the female superhero or hero. They've always relied on that. The term "the last girl" has always been a term with horror movies where the lead of the film is normally a woman against this mad psychopath killer in nearly every slasher movie. And I always like that. I think that's a dynamic that always works. It's a lot more scarier when it's a female lead. They always make the movies more terrifying than a dude, because dudes normally try to oversell of being tough and stuff like that, where women are a lot better at showing the vulnerability of a character and showing the fact that they are that they can be they can show terror better than perform terror better than a man in movies. Where I think it's an ego thing with men, where they're always like, "Oh, I have to look not scared and be Arnold Schwarzenegger and Predator," and go on, do it, just do it. But I don't like the fact that the last girl, in a sense, is Jamie Lee Curtis, who's an old woman who she won't be able to put up a fight. An old man or old woman won't be able to put up a fight against Mike Myers. Now the whole town are going against him this time, and her granddaughter is more so the lead. But I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis should be in these movies unless she's getting killed. Because look, there's no need to hold on to an old hero, no matter woman or man. It's just, I think it makes it a little bit more redundant when the main hero is an older person. Like when you have Blade Runner 2022, instead of having Harrison Ford as an old version of himself fighting off against people, you had Ryan Gosling, who was replaced as the lead, and you had Harrison Ford as more of a mentor. Jamie Lee Curtis would fit into that category a lot, especially in the last movie, but at the same time, it's more so that she is the lead character. The story revolves around her. Her niece is more of just a cog in the movie, or her granddaughter. Sorry. In other news, Cyberpunk has returned to the Sony PlayStation Store. We talked about last week how much of a bomb to the gaming industry that was, and to CD Projekt Red. It's shocking that they've brought it back on, because they've even put out a statement saying it will not. The best experience you can have is on the PlayStation 5 and next gen console. Even though they've also said that it might not fully work, not fully compatible on PlayStation 4 for definite. PlayStation 4 Pro is still a weak enough performance. Look, I'm going to get the game and I'll review it, but at the same time, I'm baffled. Can't believe they released it. I know they'll make money back on it because they've lost a fucking fortune. But it is a bit of an oddity that they've re-released this game for the PlayStation Store. Finally, we have Shazam. Shazam has they've released pictures of the costume for Shazam of Zachary Levi as Shazam. I thought his last costume was pretty cool. The cartoonish look of it really suited the tone of the film and stuff like that. But I also think that like if what I was saying last week, if they are running up to a Black Adam versus Shazam after the Black Adam movie and after this one, it will be a bit of a different tone they'll be going for. It won't be as whimsical or as fun, which I think will lose from the movie a bit. But the costumes do look cool. And there is one woman who's after blowing up the internet, who is the replacement of the grown-up version of Mary, is Grace Fulton. And has this table rise a few inches? Probably, because now I have a boner. Yeah. Don't be saying shit like that, Sean, please. The girl is a smoke show. What can I say? She is so fine. And I'm not embarrassed to say it. She is gorgeous. And well deserved that the internet is blowing up about her. Because the costume looks good. Now moving on to the movie pick of the week. I was hoping last night that Quiet Place 2 was going to be the movie pick of the week. The Junkies ruined it for me, but at the same time, I still didn't think that it was going to be as... I didn't think it was as good as the first one. I think it was a little bit... I think, not to spoil anything, but... parallel storylines kind of killed it for me and kills the tension a bit, because what the first movie done so well was building tension off small little scenes and building it into this big climax of a terrifying scene. Another criticism that I do have is showing too much of the monsters always kind of kills it. If you see too much of them, there's a lot less tension that you can perform on screen. But the movie pick of the week is Bo Burnham's Inside. If this isn't a straightforward movie, it's more of a stand-up comedy piece, but it's a weird, bizarre one. If anyone knows who Bo Burnham is, he is like a musician comedian. He writes songs and he takes the piss out of things through lyrics and music and performance. He kind of seems like one of those theater kids who is cool. So he's always been one of those people to openly talk about the fact that he doesn't like being famous and the fact that he is his anxiety torments him and his mental health torments him to a large scale. And he always puts it in through his music, but hides it through comedy. Inside is more of an art piece on that, especially in the time that we were lived through lockdown. It's more of a time capsule into what lockdown was for some people, especially people with mental health problems. And look, it is a comedy show, but it is a little bit depressing. I'm not going to just jump out right there and go, oh, it's so funny because there's one song in it that's so fucking funny. But the whole thing is, there's a bit of a damaged Bo Burnham in this piece. He direct, produced, shot, writ, lit, edited, everything you could do with a film or a stand-up piece he done. And I gotta say, the man is a fucking genius, let alone like how funny and the intelligence behind his lyrics and the music to go behind it, and like that alone shows a level of genius that not a lot of people have. But it also shows through his shot choice, his interest in lighting, the projectors in the background. The man is simply a genius. Get your fucking hands up. Lay your eyes on me. All eyes on me. All eyes on me. That's all I can say about all of you. Just watch the fucking special. It's something unique, and it really is a beautiful art piece. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I would suggest before watching it, go and watch some of his. I wouldn't say watch all of his specials because he's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but go and look up some of his songs on YouTube. There's one song called The Sad Song, and it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. His performance in it is hilarious, and the lyricism in it is, it will have your stomach in pain from laughing at. Especially if you're on a bit of the spectrum like I am.